Oh, there's a... Oh, what the fuck?
Welcome.
Oh my god, the fucking timing.
Right this way.
Sounds like a product outside.
Indeed.
How you doing?
Sounds like both are product Nino.
Very true.
I'm doing good. Preparing for something to take place tonight. Let's just say that patient 0, the first person that was infected with the plague, let's just say one of our associates, close friends, needs him to be broken out tonight. You could...
Matthew Colby.
Matthew Colby.
Well. No, I take it that's not him. Making a guess.
No. His name is Ryan Kiga. Dr. Ryan Kiga. Someone that actually worked for us, but then decided to, for some reason, rat out information to the marshals and the cops. Let's just say he was dealt with. Anyway, how are you, Nino?
I wish I could say I'm better, but I deal with the Department of Justice, which I wish that pain on no soul. With some of the things that are going to be starting soon, some of the things that you had mentioned to me, I wanted to ensure that the vision was aligned. We talked a bit about prices possibly changing, maybe volume changing, and so in order to ensure that distributors are informed enough to make the proper decisions, I want to understand, I guess, number one, should volume continue as is? Should it be slowed down? And should prices remain the same, or should those things change? Transparently, the price range I've been following is mostly match the books. 45, I think I mentioned this too. 45 for the regular set of arms, 55 for the tac rifles, and 75 for the heavies as I was playing with. As I understand it, the heavy rifles are generally hitting harder and shoot quite significantly further. And I've been leaving those as sort of like a, how do I put this? Specialty item. Something that adds a little bit more meaning to it, to prevent every other one of the weapons from losing its flavor, right? You don't want everyone having the best shit. Otherwise, the other guns don't matter. So,
I see. When it comes to volume, I believe we continue. However, when it comes to pricing, I want to understand a few things, actually. Once we show our hand with the SMGs, we do want to make room for that. Meaning, when it comes to the price of rifles, what is your opinion on a base increase of 30,000? Meaning, if the margin for an example tac rifle was between 45, that would now be between 75. That way we can make room for SMGs. However, you feel like that price is a bit too much, please do let me know.
I have found that money in and of itself is money I have found is not the how do I put this into words? There are people that have so much money, so much at risk, that even if let's say the tac rifle goes to 75, and well, let me ask you a question first, because I think this will help me answer that question better. The heavy's currently going for 75 versus the 55 for the tac rifle. How do you see that playing out? And do you agree or disagree with the notion that the heavies should have a premium given their distinctly better performance?
I do agree with that.
Okay.
I believe every rifle should be needing someone to pay a certain premium rather than getting it freely on a daily basis. As you said, a gun does shoot. We've tested it. I'm sure your people have tested it. So we do agree when it comes to that. That we want to do is, again, make room for this new market, which also means that people buying these weapons, rifles, and buying it for a very good cause, you could say.
Absolutely. For reference, apparently the bullpup equally performs with an increased range. That includes bullet damage drop-off at distance. It's not just reach. So if you are up against someone with a heavy and they got a Kalashnikov, you're fucked. Maintain the distance. They can't reach you. You reach them. So moving back to price, what I have found, I went back and checked our notes. We've hit about 2,000 weapons hitting the streets. My vast distributors claim that I've been letting them know that things may change soon, so they do not freak out. I got to make sure that the karma levels between us is somewhat understood. In saying that, people are finally, I think we're starting to hit saturation, meaning what is needed on a daily basis exists out there, and those that use shit frequently have enough that things are likely to slow down a bit, but I see that as a good thing. Means things can be done a little bit more calculated. And I myself, and on your behest if desired, can bring some more meaning behind some of these drops, which, quite frankly, if I'm going to be honest, we've had so many orders, we just chuck that shit on the ground and tell them where to find it. It's not enough time in the day. So if the base level price were to increase, so 5, 6, 7, 8, wait, 30,000. If it goes up by 20,000 or 30,000, that may make room. The problem is that the top crews are going to buy that shit anyways. My fear, and this is the biggest challenge, is that the way that a lot of people think right now is even if you get a SMG on the street, right? And that SMG is, say, $30,000. People are going to be like, yeah, but I can pay double and clap. You know what I mean? What the fuck is the SMG going to do for me? That's the problem. It's like the heavy versus the Kalashnikov. You're going to pay $20,000 more to stay alive? Probably. So, perhaps starting with a price increase is the means by which to do it. But there might need to be a little bit more attached to it as well. I'd like to give a suggestion.
Well, open is, no.
Say your open ears?
That is correct.
I think that those whom continue to get these big orders should be putting some work in. If you want the rifles, it's not just money. It's not just how many how many people you got working under you to cook up some money and throw it your way. But rather, the amount and volume you receive is based on the work you do. Be that execution of a target, be it any be it whatever chaos needs to be done. What's your thoughts on that?
Just so we're on the same page, let's say someone called John Doe wants to make a huge amount of purchases. Let's say 100 guns, you could say. Rather than him just handing you money and you handing him over the weapons, John Doe here needs to do certain activities to also ensure that those weapons are delivered on his hands. Correct?
That is correct. In order to maintain the line.
We do like that, Nino. One of the reasons why the Faceless have our higher-ups put your name forward. You see, the Faceless, we operate in one way, and that way is calculated. We want people to use these weapons in a very calculated fashion, especially that I think we are far from flooding the streets now, thanks to you and everybody else involved. But doesn't mean we can flood them more. I do like what you just said, though, Nino.
Okay. I'll start cooking on that. The network continues to advance in the way that it operates. And there is one concern that was brought up to me by one of my distributors. Now, I'm going to be honest here. If tomorrow came and someone else took this spot, I'd be just as happy. I do this because certain parties need to pay. I don't care about the money. I don't care what the power that comes with it, the supposed power. I could give a shit. However, things do need to work. I've been told there is another manufacturer, and they have allegedly been dropping a lot of heavies on the street. My concern with that is if those things go at a different price than what I am offering, then it becomes a race to the bottom. Before you know it, everyone expects a heavy for 55. So, my distributors may not know who I am, but they seemingly are very loyal. It's not just one individual who's told me. It's now been 2 distributors. So, I guess my ask is, if that is your doing, I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm not here to get in a competition. I see it as a partner. But for that partnership to exist, we would need to match prices.
Yes, to confirm, you're saying that the other distributor is selling heavies for 55,000.
That is the impression I was given.
Your price tag is
75. 45 for Kalashnikovs, and pretty much most of the 5.56s. The bullpups and the TAC rifles, 55. The bullpups and the heavy rifles, 75. Yeah. So, I can't imagine they've done too much of a dent. I don't think anyone can match what we're doing right now. Quite frankly, I don't think there's that much material left on the street. But like I said, little undercutting can really destabilize things because people are greedy at the end of the day. You see a lower price tag, they jump for it. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, everything's gets deflated. So
I'll have a conversation with the distributor. If he's setting under the margin when we have specifically given a certain margin, then he will be dealt with.
To be clear, the heavies are not labeled as 75 in the previous agreement. I had not. That's a price I set myself, seeing the value of the heavies. And the limiting I've done on my own accord as well.
I see.
Yeah. So you may simply not be aware.
Well, I'll have a conversation with the other distro.
Yeah.
In terms of pricing, base pricing, the cheapest AR, correct me if I'm wrong, is around 45,000.
That is correct. The 5.56s have no price. I mean, they're priced in the book. I think it's like the range is 45 to 55. No one wants 5.56s. They're dog shit, except for the bullpup. So everything 55 baseline, TAC rifles. Baseline is 45, TAC rifles 55, heavy rifles 75.
What would your opinion be if we were to increase the base figure for each? Let's give a figure of 25,000.
An increase of 25 across the board? Is that what you're saying?
That is correct.
I think that would be a good starting point. And I think if they're raised up, monitor how the SMGs are doing. Hopefully, whoever's running them is very good at communication to explain how they perform. But I can always ask the distribution network as well from the side. How are they performing? How are the prices? So there's a bit of a, let's say, a neutral feedback loop. Like I said, the concern can be that even with the price differential, people still go with the rifles.
Here's what we do then. Continue with the prices for now. Once we show our hand, which might take 1 to 2 weeks from now, we can then have a sit down and we can come up with the actual prices or get a new book delivered to you as well.
Okay. In the interim, the other guy is, you're going to talk to him, bring it to 75. So we don't deflate everything.
I'll have a conversation with him. I'm actually surprised that you're telling me he's dropped a few heavies. I'll have a conversation.
Bullpups. I mean, look, if my guys are already telling me this, right, and they don't even know who the fuck I am, right, that means, shit's getting around real quick. But apparently not too much in volume. It's like little shits. But, it is what it is. All right.
I have another question, off topic.
Absolutely.
Your future. You did tell me that your mayorship may be coming to an end.
I'm at a bit of a impasse. I've, in many ways, the existing DOJ, its function, it's going to be a problem for everybody. I'm going to give you an example. in lieu of the systems that have been established. Laws are being passed at whim, without due process. Judgment without process. Meaning things happen at a whim. And at a consequence of that, people suffer. And I know some of us like to make people suffer too, but it's hard to calculate a plan when the DOJ is a variable, a random number. One day things are up, one day things are down. So planning is impossible. In fact, even this location right here, the way they're operating right now, you'll wake up one day, there's a new marshal that's knocking on the door. Even after the scares that might have been given. The warden, Mr. Gary, he found out yesterday, walking into work, that he lost his job. Not from his boss, not by some press release, but because a lifer told him. He lost it the day before. Decision made on a whim. Decision made without information. If I'm going to be honest, I would have loved to have a bomb on Saturday when all the justices were there. Oh, you find a bomb for me. I'd love to fly that shit right into the fucking building.
Come to my office real quick. Hopefully you get your hopes up. It's not a bomb. I want to make sure no one does hear this. There's something very big planned in the next coming weeks to do with exactly what you just said. If you wish to get your hands on such explosives, that can happen. Remember that lawyer that I told you about?
Yes.
Well, he has a plan. If you want to merge heads or so, 2 birds, 1 stone.
I don't think he moves very smartly. But if he plans to blow it up, I can assist from the outside. Times, dates, etc. Have you pass the information over?
Sounds good. What, Nino, anything else?
You
Actually, you do owe us $4 million.
Yes. Does Charlie think that he didn't get money at the Richmond Hotel? Did double check on that.
That is correct.
Yeah. I think Charlie lost your money then. As for the other amount, when's the best time to deliver?
Next pickle and Charlie. But just to go back on what you just said, Richmond Hotel pickup, you were stating that you indeed, in fact, pay.
That is correct. We double checked the books. And I asked my comrade, everything was in a briefcase, put in the back of the black van. Charlie was in the driver's seat. We came in and we grabbed it. We dumped everything inside.
Is this when he put up with the dumpster car instead of the Speedo?
Ooh. Vehicle. It's whenever it was at the Richmond. We only met there once.
I'll speak to Charlie.
Okay.
That car is shared with Charlie and Foxtrot. So, we'll see where that money is.
Okay.
I'll ask Charlie what exactly happened.
Yeah.
Who knows? That briefcase could be still in that trunk.
That could be the case. Like I said, I'm not really concerned about the money. But, you know, if something's gone missing, that's a bump for all of us.
Well, I'll speak to Charlie.
I have one other thing. There's a particular person you warned me about yesterday. No, not yesterday. Last time we met. at the end of the conversation. That particular name has popped up quite a bit. Go by the name Oracle. When you say I need to be concerned, what level of concern should I have?
Remember that doctor mentioned earlier,
Yes.
Ryan Keeger? Well, Ryan Keeger decided to release a tape exposing sort of information we needed Humane Labs and him to do. Stuff to do with things I shall not name at this moment in time. But during this conversation, or this tape, it was saying that no one can stop the Faceless except for a group known as the Oracle. That is the only information that we know about the Oracle. We've seen them use their Twitter.
Oh.
But that is it.
Well, interesting. Well, if that's the case, they were very interested in Kiflam. In case that's of any use. Anyways, that's all I got.
Interesting. Well, we can show him out the door there. Nino,
Yeah.
I'll see you soon.
Take care.
Have a good day.
What does slash me looks concerned through mask mean? Does it mean that he was so concerned that his facial expression seeped through his mask? Yeah, like, is it a Deadpool expression? Like... I didn't want to break the immersion, though.